Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Northern Westchester. It is so wonderful to have you all here in person. It is lovely to see your faces. It is lovely to see those joining us on Zoom. I hope you rest, relax, enter into your seats, but also stay on the edge of your seats, for there will be things that are magical in this service today. We will have and ask for audience participation, so please do not be shy. Also, please have patience. This service might be a little longer than it normally is because we have a lot of moving parts. It will be beautiful and glorious. I open with these words. I have a secret. A secret the world in its constant motion hides away in the cracks outside of boredom. I have a secret. A secret inspired by words of authors by Catherine May and Frances Hodgson Burnett. A secret known the world over. I have a secret. Learned by the work and presence of community, shared in story and song, that there is magic here. There is magic hidden in the miracles of our molecules. There is a story woven in the cells of your hands, a universe that is stuck in your throat. Come, rediscover the wonder of being alive. Come, find the magic of life we share in this room. Come, find the joy in the ways we connect, in the ways we witness and question. There is magic waiting to be discovered. Come, let's find it. For this chalice lighting, it is not a usual chalice lighting, and I'm going to need a volunteer. Do I have a volunteer who'd be ready and helpful to light our chalice this morning? Anyone who wants to? Nora, do you want to light the chalice? No? Okay, that's fine. Katie? Come on up, Katie. Don't be shy, everybody. I'm going to have lots of audience participation, okay? I'm going to need you to come back here. I need you to hold this little candle, okay? So I've been trying an experiment lately. I want to see if it works. I'm going to ask you quickly to put your candle back in midair over the candle. Bring it back up. Oh, I need to fix the camera. Yep. Sorry. There we go. Y'all can see that? Keep this over here. Now move it back over, just over midair. Bring it down. Like this. The magic trick did not work, but we're going to try it again. Okay. You know what to do now. Close to the edge. Immediately after it burns out. There you go. You might not have caught it, but the candle relights in midair. Do it one more time. You can just hold my hand. Too much wax. But relighting in midair, even possibly see if this one will catch that. If you blow out a candle and immediately hover it over, it'll relight. And it reminds me of a chalice lighting in our hymnal by Albert Schweitzer. Thank you, Katie, for being our volunteer. Sorry, Katie. Takes a little finesse. But it says, at times when our own light goes out, it is rekindled by the spark of another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. When we gather as a community, we help to rekindle and spark each other's magic in our lives. We help make that possible. And so I now invite you for the second half of our chalice lighting to rise in body or spirit and to say our chalice lighting with me. The words will be on your screen. Take this candle. For this day, for our community, spiritual nurture, passion, we give thanks. in the communion of heart and soul. Please remain risen in body or in spirit and say with us our affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this fellowship. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To seek peace, to seek truth in love, serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony. Thus do we covenant with one another. So Colin had said that maybe part of the magic is just trying to make things happen. Well, we are going to try our own experiment. So I would love some volunteers, if we have any, to come forward. I know that our kids are looking at some coloring pages, but if you want, I have some magic wands, and I have some magic sheets. But if you're busy, we can also have adults do this. It's wonderful. Any adults or children volunteers who would like to do some magic this morning? Doug? Yes, Doug, come on up. Come behind me. All right. So you need 3 elements for this magic to work. You need this cloth, you need this wand, and a sheet. So what we're going to do, for anyone who knows physics, you might know what's about to happen. I got to rub this with the cloth. Then I have to rub this with the cloth, and I'm going to give this to you. I'm going to hold this here, and go ahead and just pat around it. And you'll see the cloth moves. I'm going to pull this down. Sorry, I know the camera's not perfect, everybody. But if you look, it moves the sheet. The sheet is moving. Woo! Yes. Ah! Look at that. Does anyone else want to try this morning? It doesn't matter. It's just good to know that magic is in the air. Thank you. Please be seated. Well, I wonder what new magic Colin will discover next in the next part of our story. In all the places, there is magic. So I'm going to try our next experiment and to see if there's any magic in this water. Again, I have like 10 of these wands. For anyone who wants a wand, you can come up and you can do some magic with me. But we're going to see if we can move bubbles all on their own. Can you see? There we go. Okay, we're going to make some bubbles. So, okay, there we go. Nora, do you want to try something with me? No? Okay, that's fine. Does anyone else? Susie? As board president, I'm roping you in. Vicky, do you want to come? Vicky, you want to come up? You can come the next thing. Okay. Well, this is going to be the next thing, so I'm going to have you come up, too. All right. You're going to try to take this and just move it around the bubbles and see if you can move them around. See? You're making the bubbles move. It's very slow. You're also making them pop a little bit, which is good. Let's try to charge some more magic on that.
There's probably some wise-ass crack I should make about my personality, but...
What?
Burst bubbles, or I don't know, whatever.
Also not blowing the best bubbles myself. If anyone has an art, look at that, look at that, look at that go. Look at that. Oh, wow. Look at this magic. Since we have some time, I'm wondering if anyone might know what's happening here. What's the magic behind the magic?
It's not presidential power or anything?
I know, I wish that was the case, Susie, I know. It's not even the power that I have as a minister. Actually, everyone has this power as long as you have something plastic and some cloth. What is it? What do you think I'm doing right here? It's static electricity, yes. Mm-hmm. I'm just having too much fun with this right now. See, this is me using my power as a minister to just have too much fun on a Sunday. But yes, do you know of other cool things you could do with static electricity? You can make your hair stand on end. You can, yeah. Yes, you could definitely shock somebody. You can you can stick balloons on your head. What's great about static electricity for me, and why I'm tying it to this, is because it's using electrons that are in the air and the products around us. It literally is using the magic of things that are around us every day. Because I don't think that science isn't magic. I think it is. Well, thanks for helping me find the magic in this water, everybody. So we don't need this webcam anymore, everyone. Thank you for our experiment so far. Colin says and calls the magic to him. He wants the magic to help him for his emotions, his experiment, finding joy, rediscovering his own power. We have times in our lives when we need some magic too, and times when that magic is found in the grace of community, when we have people to fill the need, to respond to our sorrows and our joys. And we discover it here in this fellowship every Sunday in our joys and sorrows. So in honor of this magic, we're doing something a little different for joys and sorrows today. This is going to need adults to come up and do this, because this was supposed to be extraordinary magic, but it's everyday magic, so the flash paper didn't work. So instead, we have regular paper. You will take a piece of paper and put into your thoughts silently your joy and sorrow you want to say. You may speak aloud a word or phrase to offer it as prayer. But then you will light it on fire and drop it into this bowl. For those who are adults, light it, drop it immediately so that your hands don't get singed, okay? But it's going to be in this ceramic bowl where you will put it. We have a fire extinguisher and water ready. Don't worry. I promise I won't burn down the building. Yet. But for example, for me, this is for Sharon Henry.
So, like the story of the secret garden, it really does ask us, how do each of us see magic? And of course, the metaphors in this book about the garden, observing things growing, is a great place to start. Or putting snowflakes under a microscope and understanding that no one snowflake is the same. Or perhaps it is the beauty of the birth of a baby or the adoption of a pet. Last year, I really felt the magic of adopting a cat. I went into the local shelter. There were all these adorable kittens, and there was this big dude cat who was almost too big for the cage. And I said to the woman there, I want this cat. Can I pick him up? And she said, you can't pick him up. He doesn't like to be picked up. So who did I go home with? The adorable kitten or the big dude who doesn't like to be picked up? Of course I did. His name is Regis. He still doesn't like to be picked up, but he has learned how to be pet and he follows me everywhere, and he is a very, very sweet boy. So sometimes magic is hard to see, but if we look deep enough, the magic reveals itself. So what does magic feel like? It can be a sudden swelling of the heart, a moment of unexpected grace, being in the presence of mystery, that which is really beyond us. Kind of awesome. How do we create magic? Well, there were some directions in the quotes today from The Secret Garden. If you think it, it will happen. And there is a word that we call that describes that in a way, and that's alchemy. the transformation of matter, which was the attempt in medieval times to change regular metal into gold. It was the medieval forerunner of chemistry, before people really understood the properties of nature and the rules of nature. However, alchemy still exists in our interior lives. Putting together the most ordinary of things with a couple of ahas thrown in really can result in magic. I have been walking in Ireland for over 30 years, walking sacred sites. And some of the sacred sites in Ireland include stone circles, standing stones, sacred wells. And what I like to do is I like to bring whatever is inside me that needs healing. Perhaps it's a hurt, perhaps it's a question, perhaps it's a longing. And I like to bring it into the center of my favorite stone circle, Ura. And I believe that I am creating a very grounded form of magic when I bring the most ordinary of human longings into the energy of the stone circle. That for me is magic. Now, the question remains, how do we create magic with each other? And I would like to share a poem by the Nicaraguan poet Rosario Murillo that sort of parallels what I like to do in the stone circles of Ireland. I am going to plant a heart in the earth, water it with love from a vein. I'm going to praise it with the push of a muscle and care for it in the sound of all dimensions. I'm going to leave a heart in the earth so it may grow and flower, a heart that throbs with longing, that adores everything green, that will be the strength and nourishment of birds, that will be the sap of plants and mountains. And so every year, I take blossoms from a very ordinary plant called a bleeding heart. Some of you know it. It grows very easily and it's quite beautiful. And I dry a few of them, and that becomes my symbol for planting it in the earth. And I actually plant the dried into the center of the circle. I bring my ordinary longing into the energy of the stone circle. And I wait. I wait as I return home and continue to look at my life. I wait for the magic. So I did share with you, how do we create magic together? So I want to return to that. How do we share it? Well, we're doing it today, right? We're gathered in community, the power of shared experience. And there's another way. We can actually use a symbolic action, similar to what I do in a stone circle. I have a friend, Ned, who's now turned 80 and who has had a very rich work life. And he's thinking about shutting his office down and discontinuing the work that he did in the world. And he's having trouble letting it go. So we've been working together, and I suggested that he take all the things that he's created in his work life, which have been huge, and physically surround himself with it in the presence of people who love him. And that he move into cutting the cord, lovingly cutting the cord, and moving towards that which makes his heart sing at the age of 80. And I said, Ned, what makes your heart sing? And he said, singing kirtan. And for those of you who don't know what kirtan is a form of Hindu devotional music. And Ned has a beautiful voice. And so together we have a date on the calendar to create magic in the presence of community as he moves from surrendering his work life, cutting the cord, and moving towards that which he loves the most in this present moment. And that, dear ones, is magic. So, may we be blessed with the ability to create magic in our lives and in the lives of others as we seek to create beloved community, alleviate suffering, and deepen the world's capacity for justice. May it be so.
Jeanne reflected so beautifully in her message that we together help create magic in our services. We, the friends, the visitors, the people of the UU Fellowship of Northern Westchester. We come back to the enchantment of our lives when we create space to honor the wonder and magnitude of being human and alive. We rediscover enchantment when we make space to reflect on the great mysteries of this one wild and precious life we share. We cast a spell when we create community, resilience, and connection as we help change the world for the better. We create magic when we make space for the beliefs of others, for our different atheisms and theologies and perspectives, all while centering ourselves in love greater than our understanding. Please understand what I mean when I say we. It doesn't matter if you've been here with us since your founding or if you just came by today. You have changed us by your presence with us. You have changed this space. You have made a difference. Each and every one of you take ordinary objects and frame them in a new light when we gather together. And we have a beautiful, literal example of this, which I shall unveil now, in the new worship art that you have created as a community together over the span of the last 6 months. I need some volunteers to help this unveiling. Do I have 1 or 2 more adults that can help me? Come on up. Yeah, okay, I got you. We're going to very carefully span this out and then fly it up. So sorry, Susie. Take each side, span it out, and then fly it up so that we try not to take it off its framing, okay? Ah. There we go. Thank you. Yes. These are the beautiful, beautiful literal art pieces that you have created over the last 6 months. We took everyday items, we put them on a piece of cyanographic photography outside in the sun over several after-service events, and then Joan Ferris sewed them together in these frames to hang in our sanctuary. If you made one, you might find one of the squares that you made. Like, I wonder who Mr. Fix-It is here. You will see that these are representations of the different members of our community and how we together create magical, beautiful space. We know that these art pieces may not be permanently displayed here, but in this moment of time, they are a beautiful reminder of our community together. I'm going to point to you for the next slide. I want to give a very special shout out and thanks. I'm going to ask you to rise. Carolyn Sears. Thank you. Thank you for helping facilitate all of the planning and the organizing, the meetings that made this happen. I also want to shout out, and I'm sorry she's not here, Joan Ferris. There's actually a picture of most of us here. Joan, Carolyn, Jim, and me are up there. And you'll see us looking down on the sunlit cyanograph paper there. Other people who helped facilitate, Phil Sears, Sarah Baker, Lori McQuaid, and of course, everyone who made our beautiful art. Thank you. Thank you so much for these gorgeous pieces of artwork we will now have in our sanctuary, reminding us of our community. Yes, Jim Novak. Thank you, Jim Novak. Actually, thank you, Jim Novak. The whole webcam setup was his idea, by the way. And that brings me to my next point. You see, the magic of worship, the magic that happens here, happens because of all of us. It happens because of our tech help, that makes it run. It happens because of Michael, who runs our slides. It happens because of the people like our trustees of the day who come and read our services. It comes by the music from Marshall and Carol and from our choir. It comes from everyone making our services magical and possible. It comes from all of us because you are the magic. You are the magic. So I close this service with words that I read from my first sermon with you. Do you know just how many cells make up the palm of your hand? Do you know the just right composition of DNA that had to come together to make you who you are? Do you know all of the people, all of the histories, all of the encounters that made it possible for you to be here right now, alive? Do you see that history when you go about your day, when you're driving on I-79 or on the bridges over the Hudson? Do you see the feat of engineering, the thousands and thousands of people it took for you to cross the roads that were built? Do you see the hands that made it possible to get the food on your table? The people, the stories, the atoms, the billions and billions of light years. Do you know just how amazing this one wild and fragile life really is? It doesn't need to be perfect to be a miracle. Life doesn't need to be ordered and clean to be beautiful. You do not need to be whole to be holy. Because everything, from your coffee cup to the pine tree down the street, has so many stories, so many atoms and molecules, so many pieces of stardust. Because everything is enchanted. May it be so, and amen. Let us rise in body or spirit and extinguish our chalice together this morning as we sing our closing song. May we carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again.